This is Tina Douglas, and you're listening to the Liam Photography Podcast with your host, my husband, Liam Douglas. Enjoy!
Welcome back to the show, everyone. Liam here, and this is episode 476 of the Liam Photography Podcast for the week of October 16th, 2025. And in today's news, Sony's mid-range cameras, Laowa's new 200mm f2 Dreamer, skiing Mount Everest, and more. So let's head on over to our friends at Petapixel and see what they have for us this week. French photography publication Phototrend interviewed a senior product manager from Sony France discussing a wide range of topics, including APS-C, full-frame, and hybrid cameras. The official even discussed the widely expected future Sony A7 IV camera. Phototrend's interview, spotted by Sony Alpha Rumors, was with Fabrice Abouf, senior IP&S product manager for Sony France. Right off the bat, Abouf dished on the success of the Sony A7 III and A7 IV cameras. Quote, "These are the most balanced cameras in our range, offering a good compromise between photo, video, and budget," Abouf said, in French, edited for clarity. Quote, "Even though these models are not the most recent, they continue to sell extremely well." End quote. At least that's the case in France. Abouf tells Phototrend that in other regions, including Asia, different cameras are more popular. In Asia specifically, Abouf claims that the A7C II is the most popular, probably for cultural reasons. He cites the left-justified EVF as one reason why the A7C II may sell better in Asia. However, overall, that class of full-frame mirrorless camera, an A7 IV and A7C II, sells extremely well globally. Although full-frame cameras are popular in France, Abouf says Sony has 35 to 36% market share in the full-frame segment there. Sony's APS-C cameras remain a good choice for many consumers. Abouf acknowledged that Sony's APS-C cameras, which do not feature a central EVF, are less popular in Europe, though it would be interesting if Sony built an enthusiast-oriented APS-C camera with an A7 IV style body, but it would mark a significant departure for the company. Phototrend, noting that it expects a lot from Sony, the Sony A7 V, asked Abouf about this expected camera. The senior manager reiterated that Sony cameras are designed to last a long time and that despite its relative age, the A7 IV remains a best-selling camera for Sony. Quote, "There is obviously a weighting effect, a buzz around the A7 V, as there was for the A7S III in its time," Abouf says. Quote, "But our philosophy is not to renew at all costs every year. We build sustainable ranges with major innovations for every generation. The A9 III, for example, marked a real technological breakthrough with its global shutter sensor. While there is no telling when an A7 V might arrive, many photographers are expecting it given that the A7 IV turns 4 years old this month. That's quite long in the tooth for a Sony Alpha camera, especially a mid-range model." Abouf doesn't give much away here, but his insistence that Sony only releases new models when they are major innovations on offer at least offers photographers hope that when the A7 V arrives, it will be a marked step up from the A7 IV. Abouf also touched on the Sony A1 II's popularity. Although the new flagship camera didn't necessarily seem that exciting at launch or offer many breakthroughs, it has proven a smash hit among professionals. Yes, the A1 II is a real success, Abouf says. Quote, "From the moment we started, we have experienced a strong demand, and we were immediately in short supply. Many professionals who already had the Alpha 1 have upgraded to the Alpha 2, seduced by its level of maturity." Sony, unlike everyone else, has noticed the two newest video-first hybrid cameras to hit the market, the Canon EOS C50 and the Nikon ZR. Quote, "We are watching the competition carefully, of course," Abuf says, "but we are especially proud of our FX range, which has largely inspired other brands." The senior product manager touts the FX2's workflow features in particular and is adamant that video users understand what Sony FX series cameras can offer them in a professional environment. Sony won't chase specifications with its cameras, per Abuf. Among the many other topics discussed in the full interview, it is worth considering what Abuf had to say about the Sony RX1R Mark III premium compact camera. This camera has been nearly a decade in the making, and its $5,100 price tag has left some photographers feeling a bit jaded. Oh, $5,100, I'm sorry. However, as sales charts have shown, and Abuf confirms, photographers are buying the RX1R Mark III. Abuf suggests that the RX1R3's success so far indicates that there remains a strong market for the product despite it being a niche luxury camera. Hopefully, this means that photographers won't need to wait another 10 years or so for the next version. The full Photo Trend interview includes discussions on tariffs, third-party lens adapters, the RX100 series, Sony's new 100mm f2.8 macro G Master lens, and more. It is a fairly candid interview and sheds light on Sony Alpha's business and philosophies. And I thought this was a good story to include today because it's always good when we get to hear from people that actually work for the camera manufacturers, especially somebody in a management position, so that they can give us a little bit more of an idea of where the companies are looking to go and when we might expect the next iteration of a particular camera, especially a popular generation of cameras or line of cameras like the Sony A7 series. I know a lot of people are, go for the A7R5 and stuff like that, but there are plenty of people out there who prefer the more hybrid, more budget-friendly A7 line and are probably looking forward to the release of an A7 V. But how soon that'll come, we're not sure yet. He didn't really give us any indication if it would be released anytime soon or if they might have to wait a while longer to see if that camera does come to market. Laowa has announced its highly anticipated 200mm f2 AF full-frame Seedreamer fast telephoto prime lens for full-frame mirrorless cameras. The affordable new lens makes the highly coveted 200mm f2 combination accessible to a wide range of photographers. When Sigma launched its excellent 200mm f2 DG sports lens this summer, it broke new ground. It was the first 200mm f2 telephoto prime lens designed natively for full-frame mirrorless cameras. However, at $3,299, it is a premium lens at a luxury price. Older DSLR models were even more expensive, including Nikon's classic AFS Nikkor 200mm f2G EDVR Mark II at $4,600, and the Canon EF 200mm f2L IS USM for $6,000. Laowa aims to offer a premium performance at a not-so-luxury price. The new Laowa 200mm f2 AF-FF, the second 200mm f2 lens designed for full-frame mirrorless cameras, is $1,999 for Sony E-mount and Nikon Z-mounts. A Canon EF version is also available since Canon has blocked third-party full-frame lenses with autofocus from the EOS R system. The EF version is $1,799. Laowa notes that the EF version can be used on Canon EOS R cameras via third-party EF to RF adapters. Quote, "Traditionally, 200mm f2 lenses have been exclusive to high-end professionals due to their hefty cost and weight. Laowa changes that with a design that weighs less, features accurate autofocus, and comes at an accessible price of $1,799 to $1,999. Venus Optics, the maker of Laowa lenses, explains. Quote, "Built for full-frame cameras, the Laowa 200mm f2 brings legendary bokeh, compression, and low-light performance to a wider audience of portrait, sports, and event photographers seeking flagship results at a fraction of the cost." The new 200mm f2, which Venus Optics describes as the, quote, "holy grail of telephoto glass," promises professional results, including high resolution and beautiful bokeh. This, along with the focal length, makes the lens well suited to a wide range of photographic subjects, including portraits, sports, and even some wildlife. A 200mm f2 may be especially good for indoor sports where light is often at a premium. 200mm f2 lenses have classically been popular choices for basketball, ice hockey, and volleyball. Venus Optics says the lens's optical design, which comprises 11 elements in 9 groups, effectively suppresses chromatic aberration, ghosting, and flare. Laowa, which makes its fair share of manual focus lenses, has designed its new 200mm f2 lens with autofocus, essential for the sports and wildlife subjects the lens is intended to capture. Laowa promises, quote, fast and accurate autofocus that easily tracks fast-moving subjects, although real-world testing is required to determine just how good the AF is. The lens also offers a fairly short focusing distance of 1.5 meters or 4.9 feet, allowing photographers to capture close-up shots with the new 200mm f2 lens. It's not a macro lens, but its maximum magnification of around 0.15 times should open up some creative possibilities. Now, traditionally, 200mm f2 lenses have also been quite heavy. The new Laowa 200mm f2 weighs just 1.6 kilograms or 3.7 pounds for the EF mount version. This is a bit lighter than Sigma's latest lens and roughly half the weight of the classic DSLR 200mm f2 primes. The mirrorless version of the lens is just under 180 millimeters or around 7 inches long. The lens accepts 105 millimeter front filters, but the E and Z mount versions can also take 43 millimeter rear filters that insert like a cartridge. The lens features 5 customizable function buttons on its barrel, a rotating tripod collar, and a weather-sealed design. The Laowa 200mm f2 Sea Dreamer lens is available to order now via the Venus Lens website and authorized retailers. The Canon EF version is $17.99, while the Sony E and Nikon Z variants for full-frame mirrorless cameras are $1,999 each. Now, one thing I did want to include in this story that Petapixel seems to have left out is it does have a declicked aperture ring. I did find that out from watching the review on this lens by the guys at Petapixel, Chris Nichols and Jordan Drake. It was Jordan that did the video on the lens because Chris is traveling. But it does have a declicked aperture ring for those of you that would want to use the lens for video. Now, this is definitely, in my opinion, an exciting lens. I've owned Laowa lenses before. I have 1 or 2 right now, I think. When I first started shooting medium format Fujifilm GFX mount, I had the Laowa 17, I think it was the 17mm f4, which was a great lens. It was manual focus, which I don't have a problem with. It did have some issues with ghosting. It needed better lens coatings to try to cut that down. But Laowa lately has been crushing it with their first few entries into the autofocus lens market. And from watching Jordan's review on this lens, this is an impressive lens, especially at that price point. Now, an 200mm f2 is a lens I've always wanted to own, but even in Fujifilm X mount, which is what I shoot now, Fuji has a 200mm f2 lens, but the thing is like $6,000, like the Canon one. Oh, it's crazy. And I just can't see spending that much money for a single lens. Not with my wallet anyways. To stand on top of Mount Everest, the world's highest peak, is to quite literally stand on top of the world. And while most people will carefully climb down, Red Bull athlete Andrei Bargelli recently made history by skiing down without any oxygen. And yesterday, Bargelli and Red Bull shared POV footage showing the extreme athlete standing on the roof of the world and then descending. It is treacherous, and Bargelli falls over a few times, causing him to cough as he gasps for air. On Everest, there is only a third of the oxygen available at sea level. This made it incredibly dangerous for Bargelli, who was supported by a team. He started at 8,849 meters, or 29,000 feet, and skied down without any ropes or fixed lines. He spent 16 hours in the death zone, the area above 8,000 meters, or 26,247 feet, where humans cannot survive for an extended period. While more than 6,000 people have reached the summit, fewer than 200 have done so without supplemental oxygen, and none had attempted a ski descent. At the altitude of Everest summit, roughly the cruising height of a passenger jet, the reduced air pressure means climbers are breathing only about 1/3 of the oxygen available at sea level. Quote, "It's one of the most important milestones in my sports career," Bargelli says in a press release. Quote, "Skiing down Everest without oxygen was a dream that had been growing inside of me for years. I knew that the difficult autumn conditions and plotting the descent line through the Khumbu Glacier would be the greatest challenge I could ever face." Photographer, Bartholomew Pawlowski, I probably butchered that name, captured several of the images of the feat. According to his website, he is a self-taught sports photographer based in Poddale, Poland, near the Tatra Mountains. He has experience on high-altitude expeditions, including Everest, the Karakoram, the Andes, and Patagonia. He was a semifinalist in the 2023 Red Bull Ilum emerging category, one of the most prestigious sports photography competitions. His experience as a ski instructor and speleologist allows him to navigate challenging terrain while capturing compelling images. And I thought this was a good story to include just because of the feat of ascending Mount Everest, especially without supplemental oxygen, and then being wild enough to ski down it. I don't think that's something I would try. Of course, I've never been a skier. I wouldn't even attempt it because I would probably hurt myself quite badly. But I'm going to take a break right here, and then I'll be right back. We hope you're enjoying this episode of the Liam Photography Podcast. You can visit the homepage for the show at liamphotographypodcast.com for show notes and links. You can post your questions, comments, or requests for future episodes at the Liam Photography Podcast Facebook group, or you can also email them to the show at liamphotographypodcast.com. You can find the show on Twitter and Instagram at LiamPhotoATL. You can tweet the show, just insert the hashtag LiamPhotoPodcast. And now, back to the show. And we are back. VSCO, the visual supply company, has announced AI Lab. It is a suite of new AI-powered editing tools to help photographers achieve professional-level results inside VSCO. AI Lab is launching with one tool, Remove, which, as its name suggests, enables photographers to erase unwanted elements from their images without sacrificing resolution or realism. VSCO users can utilize Remove to erase distracting elements from their images, including unwanted passers-by and distracting background elements. Quote, "Since our inception, VSCO has supported authentic creative expression and has provided photographers with many ways to achieve their desired success," says Eric Whitman, CEO of VSCO. Whitman continues, quote, "We see how much AI is impacting photography and are focused on bringing AI tools to our community that are designed specifically to support photographers in achieving creative excellence while respecting the art of their photography." AI Labs joins VSCO's prior AI-based offering, VSCO Canvas, which is an AI-powered mood boarding platform designed for creatives and photographers. VSCO's new AI Lab relies upon Black Forest Labs' Flux One context model, combined with proprietary purpose-built tech made for photographers, quote, "who demand high-quality edits that look authentic, not artificial," per VSCO. Although Remove is the first tool available in AI Lab, the company is also developing Upscale, which will launch soon. This will enhance image resolution and sharpness details while maintaining color accuracy. VSCO's next-generation AI-powered imaging tools aim to help photographers save time and perform less manual editing. Quote, "AI is undeniably shaping the future of modern photography, and I'm very pleased with VSCO's strategy to add important AI-based instruments that uphold the craftsmanship photographers care about," says wildlife photographer Philip Gerasimov. Quote, "The VSCO Remove tool delivers edits with required visual fidelity that enhance my photos without compromising creative content. AI Lab supports editing high-resolution RAW photos, creates non-destructive copies to preserve original images, and in the case of remove, features brush, tap, and lasso tools to select and remove objects. AI Lab is available now within VSCO Studio on iOS or VSCO Pro members. Pro membership includes unlimited AI editing, other advanced tools, and access to VSCO's entire library of 200 plus presets and film effects. And I thought this was a good story to include because, as everybody knows, AI is becoming more and more prevalent, especially in the world of photography and videography. And it is always exciting to have more selection and more choices to choose from different companies. It sounds like their upscale tool that will be coming out soon is very similar to the one I use, which is Topaz Labs Gigapixel AI. I don't think I'd be switching anytime soon. I've been very happy with Gigapixel AI, and I've been using it for quite a few years. So I don't think I'm going to make the switch, but I don't know. I may test out their software just to see what it's like and give an update on it down the road here on the show, but we'll wait and see. In February, legendary photo company Zeiss unveiled a pair of new Otis ML Prime lenses for full-frame mirrorless cameras. The Zeiss Otis ML50 f1.4 arrived shortly after launch. Now, the new Otis 85mm f1.4 has also arrived. Back in February, Zeiss said of the Otis ML85 1.4 that it would arrive later this year. The time has come, and photographers can purchase the fast manual focus lens for $2,999. It is available in Canon RF, Nikon Z, and Sony E mounts. None of the specs have changed since the original reveal near the beginning of this year, but given the time elapsed, it is worth revisiting the lens. The Zeiss Otis ML85 features 15 elements across 11 groups, including 2 spherical elements and 5 pieces of anomalous partial dispersion glass. Zeiss makes special note of the lens's relatively few glass air surfaces and its sonar optical design, created nearly a century ago by Dr. Ludwig Bertel. The Otis ML85 lens is quite hefty, weighing 2.3 pounds, a bit over 1 kilogram, although there are minor differences across each of the 3 mounts. The lens is around 5 inches long, just under 130 millimeters. Speaking to Petapixel at CP Plus in February, days after Zeiss unveiled its new lenses, Petra Visuri, product manager of photographer and mobile imaging Zeiss Photonics and Optics, or P&O, explained that the new Otis ML lenses channel the spirit of the company's legendary Otis Primes for DSLR cameras. However, the move to mirrorless afforded Zeiss more flexibility in optical design thanks to the different mount systems. Further, given that mirrorless cameras are, all else equal, smaller and lighter than the DSLR counterparts, Zeiss wanted to make its new lenses smaller and lighter. Quote, "We had to bring this same experience and same magical images to a compact and lightweight form," Visuri said in February. One thing that Zeiss did not want to do in the move to mirrorless was employ digital lens corrections, which are commonplace among first-party manufacturers. Quote, "With the Otis way, we are not relying on any of those. That's part of the design goal," Visuri told Petapixel. Quote, "In one way, digital corrections are fair. If it makes the job of the photographer easier, that's fine. But when we design the design intention and also the goal we want to achieve, what we want to preserve with Otis and the new Otis ML family is that we do not need to rely on those corrections." The Zeiss Otis ML lenses, including the 85, also buck modern trends by eschewing autofocus altogether. Both the Otis ML50 and the 85 are entirely manual focus only. However, modern mirrorless cameras should make the manual focusing experience much easier thanks to live view and the ability to easily zoom in through the viewfinder or on the camera's rear screen. Zeiss has also refined the focus ring on its new Otis ML Primes, promising smooth, silent, and extremely precise focusing control. Quote, "The primary advantage of manual focus is that you control your story creation," Zeiss says. Quote, "You decide what it is you want to see in focus, the focus and depth of it. You control your story. The Zeiss Otis ML85 1.4, available now for Canon RF, Nikon Z, and Sony E-mounts, is priced at $2,999. And this is definitely an exciting new lens from the folks at Zeiss. I know the Otis line of lenses are extremely popular with many photographers, and if you're like me, you don't shy away from manual focus only lenses, although I'm not sure I would want to pay $3,000 for an 85mm 1.4, but maybe that's just me. I don't know. That would not make my wallet happy, that's for sure. Just this week, 3 different photography focus kits for smartphones made the news. Vivo, Oppo, and Nubia have all specialized kits designed for enthusiast mobile photographers, and each promises to improve smartphone camera capabilities above and beyond what phones can do out of the box. Consider Vivo, which unveiled the X300 and X300 Pro smartphones yesterday in China. Both these models work with Vivo's smartphone photography kit that launched alongside the X200 Ultra flagship earlier this year. This Zeiss-branded kit includes a camera grip case with dedicated camera controls, a filter adapter ring, and an add-on Zeiss zoom lens that extends the telephoto reach of compatible Vivo smartphones. The lens attaches to the phone via the included case, and at least for the new X300 Pro, it works alongside digital zoom and the new 200 megapixel image sensor to deliver 1600 millimeter equivalent reach. Chinese smartphone brand Oppo unveiled a Hasselblad branded camera kit for its upcoming Find X9 Pro this week. This Oppo Hasselblad professional imaging kit was revealed on Weibo and will snap onto the back of Find X9 series smartphones, expected to launch this week in China. The Hasselblad branded teleconverter magnetic ring light, magnetic handle case, and shoulder strap promises to improve the overall mobile photography experience for Find Oppo X9 series owners. On Weibo, Oppo asserts that these new magnetic accessories, including the ring light and flash, are the first of their kind in the mobile industry. Not to be outdone, another Chinese smartphone manufacturer, Nubia, also revealed a photography kit this week on Weibo. This one looks different from the other two, employing a retro camera-like design, but its core functionality is similar. It includes a case, filter adapters, and not one, but 2 detachable lenses. The kit features a telephoto lens and a second portrait-oriented optic. The kit will work with the Nubia Z80 Ultra smartphone, which is expected to launch next week in China. These new kits, or in the case of Vivo, an older kit getting new compatibility, join Xiaomi's photography kit offerings, which focus on improving the in-phone photography experience. Xiaomi has opted to add a filter mount for its Leica engineered camera system and a camera-inspired battery grip to its handhelds. For those keeping score, that's 3 different major photography companies getting involved in photography kits for Chinese smartphones. Arguably, Nubia's kit, which doesn't feature any photo brand partnership, at least looks the part of a classic Leica with its red dot logo and classic aesthetics. Vivo is working with Zeiss, Oppo with Hasselblad, and Xiaomi with Leica. Even if OnePlus is letting its Hasselblad partnership expire with its upcoming OnePlus 15 flagship phone, it's clear that many Chinese phone companies continue to want to work with classic names in the photography industry. It is also clear that these smartphone makers are putting significant effort into improving their phones' photography capabilities, even if it means adding a bulky case and a long lens to their devices. Although computational photography helps compensate for relatively small image sensors and lenses in smartphones, there is no substitute for more real physical glass, especially when it comes to portrait and telephoto performance. And I agree with that 100%. And hey, if you're somebody that does all of your photography and video content creation with your smartphone, there's nothing wrong with that. And hey, maybe one of these kits would be just what you're looking for to up your game for portrait and telephoto performance. So you may want to definitely give them a look-see. Remember to check out the Liam Photography Podcast Facebook group. It is a private group, and you must answer a security question to join, which is the name of the host of the show, myself, Liam. And I've also opened it up to allow you to give the name of a previous guest on the show to show that you're a listener. Once you are in the group, you are free to post your own original work. Additionally, I am the admin of the Fujifilm GFX 50R group, which is the largest group for the 50R on Facebook. If you own or plan to own the 50R, you can request to join that group. You can find my work at liamphotography.net and follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at liamphotoatl. If you like abandoned buildings and history, you can find my project at forgottenpiecesofgeorgia.com. All right, that is going to wrap up the news for this week on episode 476 of the Liam Photography Podcast. I want to thank all of my listeners once again for subscribing, rating, and reviewing us in Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you might be getting your podcast. If you're not currently a subscriber, why not? It doesn't cost you anything but a second of your time, so go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Do it now, please. And also share the show out on social media and elsewhere with your friends and family. Ask them to give it a listen and a subscribe as well. I also wanted to remind you to please stop by the Liam Photography YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel, turn on all notifications, check out my latest videos that I've posted on the channel recently. The one for this coming Sunday is my review of the Elgato Prompter, which is a very cool all-in-one turnkey solution for content creation. I really enjoy that product. I got turned on to Elgato's products by a coworker and started out with the Stream Decks, and now I've got the Elgato Prompter, and I've also got the Elgato Green Screen XL. So all of those tools help me, along with recently subscribing to Ecamm Live. All of those tools are really helping me up my game a bit for my one-man YouTube channel. So that definitely makes things a lot more fun, exciting, and interesting. And I am now up to a little over 62,000 subscribers. I want to thank all of you out there for continuing to support the channel. Make sure you get your entry in for my 50,000 subscriber giveaway for your chance to win a Platypod Delta flat tripod. You can find the link to the contest, which is being hosted on gleam.io, in the show notes for today's episode, as well as in my most recent YouTube videos. All right, that is it. I will see you all again next Thursday.